भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं रघुनाथान्वितं तं सद्गुणं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण
सही है, बंदा सही है कि सब सही है।
म्यूट योर फोन माताजी। श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगणं ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती नामिने श्रीवार्षवानवी देवी दैताय कृपाब्धये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्य जल प्रेमाढ्य श्री रूपानुगभक्तिद श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तिगे दीनतारिणे रूपानुग विरुद्धाप सिद्धांत द्वान्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्बर संबोधे पादाम्बुजाय ते नमः नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते गौराविर्भाव भूमि स्वं निर्देष्टा सच्चना प्रिय वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतिषे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपः स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त श्रीराधाकान्त नमोस्तुते जयतां सुरतौ पंगो मम मन्दिरमतेर्गति मत्सर्वसपदाम्भोजौ श्रीराधामदनमोहनौ दिव्यवृन्दारण्यं कल्पाद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधा शीलगोविन्ददेवो पृष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भी वंशीवटतटस्थितः कर्षणवेणुसुनैर्गोपैर्गोपीनाथ श्रीस्तुनः सप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। Somebody can post in the group 14th chapter 248 to verse 269 to verse. Just write in the group 14th chapter is 248 to 269. So after a long time we are meeting. We had a lot of celebrations and Thane, temple opening, so many other agendas, various agendas were there. So I could not really make it up. So anyhow, I hope all would have studied and done some revision or would have relaxed very nicely. Okay, 248th verse. Devotional qualifications. How does a person progress in devotion? What are those qualifications which makes a person progress in devotional life? Is it jnana, vairagya? What is it? So in this way, there's a confusion. No? Is it jnana, vairagya, or some speculation? So let us see. 248 verse. Jnana vairagya yor bhakti pravesha upayogita ishat prathamam eveti nangatvam uchitam tayoh. I think you should share in the screen, Prabhu. Chandrapati Prabhu, are you going to share in the screen? 248th verse. Okay. Jnana and Vairagya.
I'm trying now.
Yeah. Jnana Vairagyayor Bhakti Praveshayopayogita Ishat Prathamam Eveti Nangatvam Uchitam Tayoho. Jnana and Vairagya are suitable for entering Bhakti, being somewhat useful in the beginning of Bhakti, but they are not considered angas in devotional service. 64 limbs of devotional service. These are the qualifications to progress in devotional service. They are considered as anga. Anga means limbs of devotional service. But Jnana and Vairagya, though in the beginning they are useful, but they are not considered as angas. So, Jnana, what it refers here, a realization of Brahman, that is Jnana. Knowledge of Jiva, knowledge of eternity, they are all known as Brahman. But oneness is rejected. You cannot say, Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, Sarvam Kalidam Brahman. True, Aham Brahmasmi, I am also Brahman, but I am Jiva Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, Sarvam Kalidam Brahman. Everything is Brahman, but there is a difference in that Brahman. Lord is Para Brahman. I am Jiva Brahman. The matter is Jada Brahman. So there is a difference. You cannot equalize everything. Though everybody is called as Brahman only, but that Brahman has a difference. Like you have coconut, green coconut. Once Madhvacharya went to Kerala. There, so much of Sarvam Kalindam Brahman was understood in a wrong way. Everybody used to say, Am Brahmasmi Tattvamasi Sarvam Kalindam Brahman. So it was understood in a wrong way. So then Madhvacharya asked for a green coconut. He showed to everyone, what is this? They said, this is green coconut. He removed the upper shell. Now what is this? They said, this is a brown coconut. Then he removed the pulp from inside. What is this? This is coconut. Now green shell was there, brown shell was there, and pulp was there. Then he showed what is all these things. Then they said, this is green shell, this is brown shell, this is coconut. But when it was put together, it was called as coconut. But there is a distinct difference between coconut and the things which was related to coconut. In the same way, though when they are together, they are called as coconut. But when they are separated, there is a distinct difference. That is why there is oneness at the same time, there is difference. That is why it is achintya bheda abheda tattva. There is oneness. At the same time, there is difference. Like Brahman, when everything is together, it is Brahman. Within that Brahman, there is Jiva Brahman, Jada Brahman, and Para Brahman. So, now Vairagya. What is the meaning of Vairagya here? This is a type of renunciation. What type of renunciation? Which is going to enhance our knowledge about Brahman. That type of renunciation has been given. Not the renunciation which is Falgu renunciation, giving up everything. And this giving up everything and it becomes contrary to Bhakti. That type of renunciation is not appreciated. The renunciation by which Brahma Jnana can be attained, that type of renunciation is accepted. So, Jnana and Vairagya, knowledge of Brahman, renunciation for attaining knowledge of Brahman is appreciated. This is all in the beginning, it is very good. So that a person takes up devotional service. In the beginning, everything is wonderful. So, what happens? This is just to produce an detachment. They are suitable only at the stage of giving up attachment. To have a detachment for other things so that one is attached to Krishna, such type of Jnana and Vairagya is very good in the beginning of devotional service. That has been given. But what is Bhakti? Bhakti is attaching everything in Krishna service. That is known as Yukta Vairagya. We have studied this in 6th chapter. Yukta Vairagya, Falgu Vairagya. So we are not interested in Falgu Vairagya, giving up everything. In the beginning, everything is wonderful, but we should know how to connect everything to Krishna. That is most important. Like the child, when is not trained, is not allowed to touch the knife, but that is not an eternal instruction. When the child becomes big and is able to hold the knife, then he is allowed. So we should know how to utilize the things. Till that point, Jnana and Vairagya is very good, so that we develop a detachment to the sensory objects. Okay, read the first paragraph, 248. Somebody can share in the screen. Prabhuji is not able to do. That's what the message Prabhuji has put. If one of you can share, it's okay. Or just read. Krishna Priya Mataji, you start.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat. Chapter 14, Devotional Qualifications. Some scholars recommended that knowledge and renunciation are important factors for elevating oneself to devotional service. But actually, that is not a fact. Actually, the cultivation of knowledge or renunciation, which are favorable for achieving a footing in Krishna's consciousness, may be accepted in the beginning, but ultimately, they may also come to be rejected. For devotional service is dependent on nothing other than the sentiment or desire for such service. It requires nothing more than sincerity.
So what is the most important factor in devotional service? There is sincerity. It is not dependent on jnana, vairagya, how much knowledge you have, how much announced you are. Automatically it will come. Jnana and vairagya follows devotional service. In fact, bhakti is not dependent on jnana and vairagya. Jnana and vairagya are dependent on bhakti. Now, 249th verse. Yatubhi chitta kathinya eti praya satamate sukumara svabhavemam bhakti stathetur irita. Jnana and vairagya generally make people are very harsh. What is this? Which chapters are put here? Okay. Jnana and vairagya, what happens? It makes the person very harsh. It's hard becomes hard. The authoritative devotees have concluded that bhakti alone, whose nature is very tender, is the cause of entering into bhakti. So it is a softness of the heart which allows the seed of devotion to grow. It is not the hard heart or a harsh heart in which the seed of devotion will grow. Brahmanda Brahmite Koda Bhaktivan Jiva. Guru Krishna Prasad Pai Bhakti Lata Bija. This bija is sown in the heart of those who are soft. And to keep the soil soft, you see, hard soils, the plant doesn't grow. You have to keep it soft. So if you have to keep it soft, it is not dependent on Jnana and Vairagya. In fact, Jnana and Vairagya will make your heart harsh. That has been given. Okay. Continue. Reading continue.
It is the opinion of expert devotees that mental speculation and the artificial austerities of yoga practice may be favorable for becoming liberated from material contamination, but they will also make one's heart harder and harder. They will not help at all in the progress of devotional service. These processes are therefore not favorable for entering into the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Actually, Krishna consciousness, devotional service itself, is the only way of advancing in devotional life. Devotional service is absolute. It is both cause and the effect. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause and effect of all that be. and to approach him, the absolute, the process of devotional service, which is also absolute, has to be adopted.
So, what is the cause of having bhakti? Bhakti is the only cause. The cause and the effect, both are one. That is bhakti. Bhakti means always thinking about Krishna. Because he's always thinking about Krishna, he anchors his activities around Krishna. That is why his heart is always soft. He is not into speculative knowledge. Jnana is mostly into speculative knowledge. He's not into speculative knowledge. He's just thinking about how to serve Krishna all the time. That means he's only thinking about serving Krishna. That is why the heart is very soft. He is not into renouncing things. In fact, he is into using the things in Krishna's service. There's a lot of difference. When you start rejecting the things, you develop a type of hatred. You're thinking that this thing belongs to me. Let me give it up. Where is the thing belonging to you to give it up? Ishavase midam sarvam. Yatkincha jagatyam jagat. Ishopanishad is going to start for you. The Ishopanishad clearly says that everything belongs to Krishna. So who am I to reject the things? Who am I to reject the situations? I have to utilize the situations in Krishna's service. But the initial, when we are attached to the things, we think of giving up the things because we don't know how to utilize. At that process of giving up the things, a person starts becoming harsher and harsher. The pride enters. I have started giving up the things. Until unless pure devotional service is not taken up, the shelter of pure devotees are not taken up, then we will not learn how to utilize things in Krishna's service. Every moment is for Krishna. The moment I think this time belongs to me, then my heart becomes harder. So every situation, every moment is for Krishna's service. Read the other paragraph also, Mataji.
Okay.
This
This is
also
confirmed.
49 only.
This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita by the Lord himself. One can understand me only through devotional service.
Mataji, this is you have to read one above para.
Read now.
It is opinion. She has not.
I finished.
It was not read.
Yeah, read.
I finished.
Okay. Sorry.
No problem. In beginning his teaching of Gita, the Lord said to Arjuna, because you are my devotee, I shall teach this secret to you. Vedic knowledge means ultimately to understand the Supreme Lord. And the process of entering into his kingdom is devotional service that is accepted by all. Authentic scriptures, mental speculators neglect the process of devotional service, and by simply trying to defeat others in a philosophical research, they fail to develop the devotion. Will I continue next paragraph also, Mataji?
Where you read?
Third one done, Mataji.
Ecstasy of devotion.
Yes.
Devotion. Okay, mental speculators neglect the process of devotional service. In the process of giving up everything, they don't know how to utilize what is the meaning of devotional service. Using whatever opportunities, whatever assets a person has. First asset a person has his own body, then body related things around him. So this is the asset which a living entity has got, especially the human body, which is very difficult to attain. So utilizing this asset, utilizing the moment, utilizing the opportunities. If a person doesn't know you to utilize the opportunities come, grab it. Whenever opportunities for service comes, just take it. Don't give any excuses. Just take it. Keep all the excuses behind. Just grab the opportunity. So we should know So that devotional service means this is the secret of devotional service. How to progress in devotion? By devotional service only. So bhakti is the secret for progressing in bhakti. So cause and effect both are the same. Now 250. Yatha tatraiva tasman madbhakti-yuktasya yogino vai madatmanah na jnanam na cha vairagyam prayah shreyo bhaved iha. So Bhagavatam very clearly states, for a devotee engaged in my loving service, with mind fixed on me, the cultivation of knowledge. Now, which knowledge? Impersonal knowledge. The cultivation of impersonal knowledge and renunciation is generally not the means of achieving the highest perfection within the world. So, Bhagavatam is the proof. 11th canto, 12th chapter, 31st verse says, Lord tells to Uddhava. Okay, Kanchan Mishra Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. In the 11th canto, 20th chapter, verse 31 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna says, my dear Uddhav, for persons who are seriously engaged in my service, the cultivation of philosophical speculation and artificial renunciation are not very favorable. When a person becomes my devotee, he automatically attains the fruits of the renunciation of material enjoyment, and he gets sufficient knowledge to understand the absolute truth. That is the test of advancement in devotional service. A devotee cannot be in darkness because the Lord shows him special favor and enlightens him from within.
Now see, there are Jnanis, there are Vairagis who go to Himalayas, who are into speculative knowledge. Now you all are studying Bhakti Shastri. You are giving time to study. Is it not renunciation? You could have also enjoyed. Though you may not look like a renounced person. There are people who look like renounced. They are like renounced sadhus going. You may not look like that. Some give up the colorful dresses. They only wear white. You may not look like that. But you are renounced. A person in devotional service is automatically renounced. When I read these verses, I remember the incident. The Times of India office had a nice bungalow in Chembur. So they gave me the place to do the satsang program. So we had organized a satsang program there. So I went there, and there were some Jain lady monks. Though they saw me, they said, for what purpose you all have come here? Because for Chaturmas, they used that bungalow, but we had a space outside where we had to conduct the program. That space was given to us. Then I told, we have Bhagavad Gita class here. Racha. I said, please come. You can also come. And they said, we don't hear from prapanchas. Okay, Racha. I did not understand. I said, what is the meaning of prapancha? So you are wearing a colorful sari. We have given up all these things. I said, no problem. I just the senses went. And exactly the same chapter of renunciation was there. And this Falgu Vairagya and Yukta Vairagya was there. I said, oh my God, I have to speak truth now. From the Vyasas, and we cannot speak something which is going to put some butter on their face. No, we have to speak truth. And the result was, from the next class they started attending. So it is not you give up some color, then you have renounced. You put some white color or orange color. This color doesn't decide renunciation. What is real renunciation is utilize everything in Krishna's service. Understand that we are just servants of Krishna. So this process, which is taught by Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada has given us the most wonderful process of renunciation. And what is that? Yukta Vairagi. Be a Yukta Vairagi instead of Falgu Vairagi. Be a Yukta Vairagi. So 251 is also there in the same paragraph. It says, Kintu Jnana Vaira Virakti Adi Sadhyam Bhakteva Siddhyati. However, the goals of Jnana, Vairagya and other processes are achieved by Bhakti alone. Now, the goals of jnana can be achieved only by bhakti. What is the purpose of jnana? What is the purpose of jnana? Jnana is knowledge, and the result of knowledge. Now, speculative knowledge, okay. But then, even to achieve success in the speculative knowledge, he cannot do it without bhakti. So he has to come in the bhakti. For only by bhakti, only he can achieve success in any other processes. That means every process is dependent on bhakti. On his own, having some speculative philosophies, he can never attain the desired goal. He may try to attain some siddhis. Again, siddhi pradata is also Lord only. So it is only every process is dependent on bhakti. Now 252, 253, there is also in the next paragraph. Now it is given very nicely here. Goal of jnana is liberation. Goal of vairagya is jnana. So everything is dependent on bhakti. So liberation, mukti, cannot be attained without Krishna's mercy. So what is the goal of jnana? To attain liberation. What is the goal of vairagya? To attain jnana. So then everything is dependent on bhakti only. Okay, 252, 253. Yatha tatraiva yat karma bhir yat tapasa jnana vairagya yataschayat. Yogena dana dharmena shreyabhir itarairapi sarvam mad bhakti yogena mad bhakto labate jasa swargapavargam madhama kathanchid yadi vanchati. So this is said in the Bhagavatam also. Everything that can be achieved by fruitive activities, finance, knowledge, detachment, mystic yoga, charity, religious duties, all other means of perfecting life is easily attained by my devotee through loving devotional service. If somehow or other my devotee desires promotion to heaven, liberation, or residence in my abode for service, he easily achieves such benedictions. We are seeing the words also. Salokta Shastri Samikya, Diyamanam na Pashyanti, Vinamas Sevanam Jana. We don't want all this type of liberation. That is why in the bracket it has been put. If at all he gets my abode also, everything is easily attained. And for attaining these things, people take so much of efforts to go to heavenly planet, to attain liberation. If at all my devotee desires all these things, it is easily available for him. He can easily go to Swarga. He can easily attain liberation. So, and he can also easily attain the residence in my abode. And for what is he doing that? He just wants to serve Krishna. So that is the benediction of devotional service. So sincerity is the key success in devotional service. Okay. Read Kanchan.
Hare Krishna Mataji. In the 11th canto, 20th chapter, verses 32 and 33 of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lord further instructs Uddhava, my dear friend, the profits derived from fruitive activities, austerities, the culture of philosophical knowledge, renunciation, the practice of mystic yoga, charity, and all similar auspicious activities are automatically achieved by my devotees, those who are simply attached to me by loving service. These devotees have everything at their disposal, but they desire nothing outside of my devotional service. If ever a devotee should desire some material profit, like promotion to the heavenly planets or some spiritual profit to go to the Vakunthas, by my causeless mercy, his desires are very easily fulfilled. Can I read further,
Now
Mataji?
254 and 255 you are supposed to memorize. These are the shlokas which are often quoted by Srila Prabhupada while explaining what is renunciation. Yukta Vairagya, Falgu Vairagya. So what is Yukta Vairagya? अनासक्तस्य विषयान् यथार्हम् उपयुज्यतः निर्बन्ध कृष्ण संबंधे युक्त वैराग्य कथ्यते युक्त वैराग्यमुच्यते अनासक्तस्य विषयान् he has no attachment for anything अनासक्तस्य आसक्त अनासक्तस्य अनासक्तस्य विषयान् विषयान् means objects sense objects अनासक्तस्य विषयान् यथार्हम् उपयुञ्जतः he doesn't have attachment but he always wants to utilize यथार्हम् for his उपयुञ्जतः उपयुञ्जतः means उपयोग करना for his service यथार्हम् उपयुञ्जतः निर्बन्धः he has no attachment Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe. He has no attachment, but he wants to connect Krishna Sambandhe. Yukta Vairagyam Uchyate. So memorize this verse. What is renunciation? The moment we hear this word renunciation, sometimes we are scared. Oh, I have to renounce everything. You can only renounce if you have no attachment for yourself, but you want to utilize it in Krishna's service, then that is real renunciation. It is not just giving up, it is utilizing. We are not interested in giving up things. We are interested in utilizing the things. And automatically, when you are utilizing in Krishna's service, automatically you don't have attachment. That is why you are utilizing in Krishna's service. So this verse is very important. And the next verse, which speaks about Falgu Vairagi. Somebody said, Prabhupada, these rishis and munis, they are just see in the Himalayas, they're doing so much of hard work, so much of tapasya, they remain nude. Even in cold countries, Prabhupada said, even monkeys are nude. Prabhupada is compared. Prabhupada said, what is so big in it? And monkeys are nude. Prapanchikataya buddhaya hari sambandhi vastunaha mumukshubhi parityago falgu vairagya katyate. A falgu vairagi, he considers everything as prapancha. This is prapancha, that is prapancha. Color is prapancha. They try to pluck their hairs also. There are monks who try to pluck their hairs. That is prapancha, this is prapancha. Your consciousness should be in Krishna. If everything is prapancha, even staying in the planet is also prapancha only. Prapanchikataya buddhya. The buddhi is prapancha buddhi. Everything seeing as matter. Rejection of matter. Naiti, 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 rejection. I don't want this, I don't want this. Who are you to say I don't want this? And Sanatana Goswami told that I just want to give up this body because this body is creating such a disturbance. When you are hugging me, O Chaitanya, my all blood and the pus is oozing out and getting stuck, and this and actually is spoiling your beauty. So let me give up this body. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, who are you to decide that? This body belongs to me. So prapanchika buddhya hari sambandhi vastunaha. When it comes to hari sambandha vastunaha, the vastu which belongs to Krishna, they see that also as prapancha. When you give a nice plate of prasadam, they will think this is Bhagwan ke naam se khate rehte hain. No, that is mercy what we are taking. It is not just some food. It's not a food. It's a lot of difference is there when the distribution of prasadam is there and when the distribution of food is there. In the COVID, people used to distribute food, and from the temples, prasadam is to go. So when there was a COVID warrior ceremony where it was organized by one of the MLA, they called us. They told me to speak some few words. I told, what food we gave is not just an ordinary food. We gave prasadam. Prasade sarva dukkhanam hani rasya pachayate. So Lord's mercy flows through prasadam. So it is not just an ordinary food, but for an ordinary person, a person who is a Falgu Vairagi, he considers the things related to Krishna also as prapancha. Prapanchikataya buddhya arisambandhi vastunaha mumukshubhi patyago. So he considers himself to be a sage and he starts rejecting things. Mumukshubhi patyago Falgu Vairagya tathyate. They are all Falgu Vairagis. Okay, 2 paragraphs. Rupa Goswami speaks about Yukta Vairagi, Falgu Vairagi. Narayana Damodar, read.
Actually, a person who is developing Krishna consciousness and still has some attachment to material enjoyment will soon be freed from such a tendency by regularly discharging devotional service under the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master. Srila Rupa Goswami then recommends that one should not be attached to material sense enjoyment, but should accept everything enjoyable which is in relationship to Krishna. For example, eating is necessary, and one wants some palatable dishes to satisfy his sense of taste. So, in that case, for the satisfaction of Krishna, rather than for the satisfaction of the tongue, some palatable dishes may be prepared and offered to Krishna. Then it is renunciation. Let the palatable dishes be prepared, but unless they are offered to Krishna, one should not accept them for eating. This rule of rejecting anything which is not offered to Krishna is actually renunciation. And by such renunciation, one is able to satisfy the demands of senses. Next paragraph.
So what is renunciation? If you're not offering to Krishna, you're accepting the things, and you're not taking the things which is not offered to Krishna, that is real renunciation. You want to accept, first offer to Krishna, then accept. So that is real renunciation. And that is not for the satisfaction of one's own tongue. It is for the satisfaction of Krishna. When you're satisfying Krishna's tongue, automatically Krishna Prasadam satisfies a person. So Yukta Vairagya and the Falgu Vairagya has been spoken. Now 256. Okay, 254 and 255 was speaking about 254. Okay, one I missed out. 254 is the previous one. After that came Yukta Vairagya. Now Falgu Vairagya will come. That is 256. So 254 I missed out. Let me read that also. Ruchim udvahatata satra janasya bhajane hare vishayeshu garishtopi raga prayo viliyate. If a person has a taste of worshipping Krishna, even if he has strong material attractions, those attractions will be for the most part destroyed during sadhana without resorting to vairagya. Even if he has strong attachment to something material, it has to go. Like how Dhruva Maharaj, he was so attached to get a big planet, the biggest planet, even more bigger than his great grandfather. But devotional service has the power to remove that attachment. Yasyaham anugrahami harishet dharam shanai. To whoever I have given special mercy, Krishna says, I remove that attachment. Harishet dharam shanai. Tato adhanam tejanti asya swajanam dukkha dukkitam. The moment you have no attachment for the things are gone with your hands. You have no attachment to go to malls. You have no attachment to go to theaters. You have no attachment to go to some restaurants. And automatically, even the relatives also will run away. Why? Because they're attached to enjoy the things taking your help. But if you are not interested, why they will be with you? So that is why to whoever Krishna has given a special mercy, first thing he does is he removes that dhana or the facility by which you can go and enjoy these things. That thing has been removed. Even the tendency to enjoy is removed. That is also dhana only. So-called dhana, so-called money. Now, that is compensated by Lakshmi. Lakshmi comes to serve Krishna. So Dhana is replaced by Lakshmi. When it is replaced by Lakshmi, then you have devotees around you. You don't have materialistic people around you. You have devotees around you. That is, this is 254th verse, 255th is Yukta Vairagya, and now 256 is for Gu Vairagya. So you can, Gadi Prabhu, you can read. Gadi Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
2 paragraphs, 256 is 2 paragraph, read that.
Okay. The impersonalists who try to avoid everything material may undergo severe austerities, but they miss the opportunity of being engaged in the service of the Lord. Thus, their renunciation is not sufficient for perfection. There are many instances where, following such artificial renunciation without any contact with devotional service, the impersonalist again fell down and become attracted to material contamination. There are many supposed renouncers, even at the present moment, who officially become sannyasis or renouncers and outwardly claim that spiritual existence is truth and material existence is untruth. In this way, artificially, they make a show of renunciation of the material world. However, because they cannot reach the point of devotional service, they fail to achieve the goal. And they again come back to the material activities such as philanthropic work and political agitation. There are many examples of so-called sannyasis who give up the world as untruth, but again come to the material world because they were not seeking their real repose at the lotus feet of the Lord. One should not give up anything which can be utilized in the service of the Lord. That is the secret of devotional service. Anything that can be utilized in the advancing Krishna consciousness and devotional service should be accepted. For instance, we are using many machines of advancement of our present Krishna consciousness movement. Machines like typewriters, dictating machines, tape recorders, microphones, airplanes. Sometimes people ask us, why are you utilizing material products if you condemn the advancement of material civilization? But actually, we do not condemn. We simply ask people to do whatever they are doing in Krishna consciousness. This is simple principle on which in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna advised Arjuna to utilize his fighting abilities in devotional service. Similarly, we are utilizing these machines for Krishna service. With such sentiment for Krishna or Krishna consciousness, we can accept everything. If the typewriter can be utilized for advancing our Krishna consciousness movement, we must accept it. Similarly, the dictating machine or any other machine must be used. Our vision is that Krishna is everything. Krishna is the cause and effect, and nothing belongs to us. Krishna's things must be used in the service of Krishna. That is our vision. Hare Krishna.
That is what is the training which Srila Prabhupada wants to give us. Prabhupada when crossed the Varnashrama principles. According to Varnashrama principles, sannyasi is not supposed to cross the ocean. According to Varnashrama principle, a sannyasi is not supposed to light the fire. But Prabhupada gave up all these principles because it was coming on the way of devotional service. Now his guru says, go and preach in the West. So he has to give up these Varnashrama principles and he has to take up Daivi Varnashrama. Daivi Varnashrama speaks about utilize every moment in Krishna service. And Chaitanya Bhagavat in the morning hours, we're doing this. What is Adaiva Varnashrama and Daivi Varnashrama? Daivi Varnashrama anchors towards serving Krishna. The more you serve Krishna, Chaitanya is very happy. And that is how every moment, how to utilize things in Krishna service. Anything comes as an impediment in the path of devotional service, give it up. It can be the principles given in the Vedas. But if that principle is coming on the way of devotional service, then give it up. It's not a problem. Take up if it is helping you in practice devotional service. Then you can take up the principles which is there in the Vedas. If it is helping you to progress in devotional service. Now 257, 258. प्रोक्तेन लक्षणेनैव भक्तेरधिकृतस्य च अङ्गत्वे सुनिरस्तेऽपि नित्यादि अखिलकर्मणाम् ज्ञानस्याध्यात्मिकस्यापि वैराग्यस्य च फल्गुणः स्पष्टतार्थं पुनरपि तदेवेदं निराकृतम्. The daily and periodic duties of varnashrama and the imperfect aspect of jnana, the obstructive portions of karma and jnana have already been rejected as angas of bhakti. By using the stated definition of uttama bhakti obtained through bhakti scriptures. However, in order to make the point clear, the false type of vairagya, the obstructive portion, has been again rejected as an anga of bhakti. Anya bilashita shunyam jnana karmadinabhutam anukullena krishna anushilam bhakti uttama. What is uttama bhakti? Anya bilashita shunyam. We should not have any other desire except for serving Krishna. We reject all other desires. Anya bilashita shunyam jnana vairagya navritam. Give up all the speculative knowledge. Give up so-called renunciation. Anukulyena Krishna, Anushilam, Bhakti Uttama. Whatever favorable in devotional service, just take it up. That is Uttama Bhakti. And that too, following the footprints of the Mahajanas, following the footprints of Acharyas. So, here also see the periodic duties of Varnashrama, impersonal aspect of Jnana. This is not angas of devotional service. The so-called duties. I'm a very good father. This is all not going to help you in devotional service. You may be a good father, but what is the use of being a father if you're not training the children in devotional service? What is the use then? What is the use of being a very good mother if the mother is not interested in devotional service? So, so-called duties. You may be a very good king. What is the use of being a very good king, very good administrator? What is the use if you are not training your subjects in devotional service? So that type of periodic duties means I will do everything in time. Everything in time. What is the use of doing in time also? You're not interested in devotional service. When opportunities come on, start going to take it up. So what is the use then? What is the use of following so-called periodic duties if we are not interested in devotional service? So bhakti is something which is not connected to anything of your timetable. I have to do this, that, nothing. Bhakti is love for Krishna, and for loving Krishna, it is not a scheduled program. It's the most unscheduled program, isn't it? You cannot have a scheduled program. But you may say, no, I have to eat in this time, that time. Yes, everything is very good. But if it is encouraging your devotional service, you are following all your schedules so that you are chanting more and more, then it's okay. You are following your schedule so that you take out time to perform devotional service, then those schedules are wonderful. But if my desire is only for having some scheduled day where some opportunity of devotional service comes, like suppose I have a habit of sleeping 9 o'clock and some 9:30 some emergency devotional service has come, then will I say, oh, it is coming as an obstruction in my schedule? No. At that time, your schedule is not more important. Like you have a habit of waking up 4 o'clock and chanting the holy name. And suppose while chanting the holy name, you have some devotional service, suddenly you have got it. Then what is the most important thing? Yes, chanting is very important, no doubt. But at that time, some devotional service has come. Just take it. You can chant afterwards. So sometimes you have to adjust your schedule if devotional service has come. Some emergency devotional service has come. Like you have a habit of taking rest on your holidays. And suddenly you have some devotional service which has come to you. Take it up. Adjust your things in such a way that you don't lose the opportunity for performing devotional service. Emergency. An emergency should be given more priority than the schedules. That is why it is said here, periodic schedules has no value in devotional service. Devotional service is beyond all this, is beyond. Okay. 257, 258. Read further.
Hare Krishna. This does not mean, however, that we should give up the principles of discharging devotional service or neglect abiding by the rules and regulations prescribed therein. In the neophyte stage of devotion, one must follow all the principles regulated by the authority of spiritual master. The acceptance, the acceptance and rejection of the thing should always be in pursuance of the devotional principles. Not that one can independently manufacture some idea of what should be accepted or rejected. The spiritual master, as the visible manifestation of Krishna, is necessary, therefore, to direct the devotee on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Okay, 259. धन शिष्यादिवेदे द्वारे या भक्ति उपपाद्यते विदुरवद उत्तमता हान्या तस्याश्च nangata. So the bhakti which is accomplished by dependence on wealth, follower or other objects cannot be considered as anga of devotion service. Bhakti is not dependent on wealth. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. Kavitam va jagadish kamaye mama janmani janmanishware bhavatat bhakti rahitupitve. Somebody is following you, somebody is not following you, you have wealth, you don't have wealth. Bhakti is not dependent on all these things. Bhakti is nothing but love for Krishna and service to Krishna. Service to Krishna again is not dependent on your wealth. Service to Krishna is dependent on your desire. Whatever, whenever required, Krishna provides. Prabhupada had just 40 rupees in his hand. Went and gave Krishna consciousness around the world. What facilities he had? Nothing. Bhakti is not dependent on the facilities what you have. You may have a car, you may not have a car. You may have some commutation facility, you may not have. It is your urge, the strongest urge to perform devotional service, that will give you necessary facilities whenever, wherever required. So this is a very important aspect. Sometimes we think, oh, facilities are there, then we'll do devotional service. While Prabhupada is writing the purports, Prabhupada stayed in Radha Damodar temple. Now when you go to Radha Damodar temple, everything is so wonderful. But when Prabhupada stayed, there was hardly any facility. So we can see from our Acharyas' lifestyles, they never were into having facility or followers. If you see Ramanujacharyas also. From Sri Rangam, he had to go to Melkote, alone traveling. It is not that he had some big followers behind. Bhakti is not dependent on the followers. How many number of followers you have? No. Nor the measurement of bhakti is dependent on how many number of followers a sannyasi has. A sannyasi may have 1 lakh followers. On the other hand, there may be a sannyasi who doesn't want any followers. Like Loknath Goswami did not want anybody, he did not want any follower. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who compelled him to give initiation to Narottam Das Thakur. But Acharyas, they are not so interested in having followers. So one may have, one may not have. But Bhakti is not dependent on how many number of followers you have. There may be 2 persons sitting in your class. There may be 2,000 people sitting in your class. So you cannot immediately say, oh, this preacher is very effective. Huh? He has 2,000 people and he's a great devotee. That is why so many followers are there. He may be, but not necessary. It's not necessary that a person who has only 2 persons sitting in his front, he may think, somebody may think, oh, he's not an effective preacher. There is only 2 persons sitting before him. So bhakti is not dependent on any number of followers or what type of wealth you have. Okay. Read further.
The spiritual master must never be carried away by an accumulation of wealth or large number of followers. A bona fide spiritual master will never become like that. But sometimes if a spiritual master is not properly authorized and only on his own initiative becomes a spiritual master, he may be carried away by an accumulation of wealth and large number of disciples. He's not a very high grade of devotional service. If a person is carried away by such achievements, then his devotional service becomes slackened. One should therefore strictly adhere to the principles of disciplic succession.
Now 260. Why this is coming? This is not the verse. Here this. Visheshanatvam me vaisham samshayanti adhikarinam vivekadinyato nisham api nangatvam uchate. Discrimination and other material qualities cannot be considered angas of devotional service, angas of uttama bhakti, since on their own they take shelter of the excellent condition of persons practicing uttama bhakti. Discrimination, desertment, or other qualities. So somebody is very having nice material qualities. He knows to discriminate what is good, what is bad, but that is not an anga of uttama bhakti. In fact, if he is performing uttama bhakti, these things will follow up. He will know how to discriminate, because the intelligence is the next door neighbor of the soul. We have studied that. Intelligence is the next door neighbor of the soul. And discriminating quality comes from the intelligence. If the soul is dedicated in serving Krishna, automatically intelligence is purified. When intelligence is purified, he knows to discriminate. He knows to discriminate. And he knows the discrimination also is for the service of Krishna. When you see Uttama Bhaktas, they will not discriminate. The discriminating tendency is not there. Even if discrimination is done, that is just to enhance devotional service. Okay. Neeraj Prabhu, you can read. Neeraj Prabhu is not there. Daya Sagar Prabhu, you read.
Hare
Daya
Krishna,
Sagar Prabhu.
Narayani Mataji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam.
Okay.
A Krishna conscious person, being naturally purified, has no need of developing any other purificatory process of thought or action. On account of his being highly elevated in Krishna consciousness, he has already acquired all the good qualities and is following the rules and regulations prescribed for the mystic yogic process. Such rules are automatically practiced by devotees. A concrete example is the quality of non-violence, which is considered a good qualification. A devotee is naturally non-violent and therefore doesn't have to practice non-violence separately. Some people seek purification by joining a vegetarian movement, but devotee is automatically a vegetarian. He doesn't need to practice separately in this matter or to join any society for vegetarians. He is automatically a vegetarian.
So somebody may say, oh, I am a vegetarian, or I don't eat any onion and garlic. You should have just be Krishnatarian. It is not just vegetarian or some I just take Jain food. Just have to be Krishnatarian. Somebody said, Prabhupada, we are vegetarian. Prabhupada said even monkeys are vegetarian. Prabhupada is to compare with monkeys a lot. Monkeys are also vegetarian. But then, what is the use of being vegetarian if you are not Krishnatarian? If you are not taking Krishna Prasad? Even though you may not be taking onion, garlic, what is the use of being even vegetarian if you are not taking Krishna Prasad? Now, 261. 261. Krishnonmukham swayam yanti yamaha shauchadayastata iti yesham chana yuktaha syad bhakti angantara patita. Basic rules of conduct, yamaihe, rules of cleanliness and other actions appear automatically in those who are extremely dedicated to Krishna. Thus, they are not included as angas of devotional service. So it automatically appears, yam, niyam, basic rules of conduct. A person who is dedicated in Krishna consciousness, he knows how to behave and is automatically clean. So it is not that cleanliness is, bhakti is dependent on cleanliness. He is automatically clean. Cleanliness, in fact, is the result of bhakti. If the person is performing devotional service, he will follow these rules. So all the actions are dependent on bhakti. How eager you are to serve Krishna. Like mother loves to feed the child. If her love is very strong, then automatically she will know how to cook the best, how to keep all the utensils clean. It is not that because she has cleaned the utensils, she is going to serve the child. Service to the child is not dependent on your clean utensils. You love the child, automatically you will clean the things. If you love Krishna, you will keep everything clean. We have learned this proverb, cleanliness is next to godliness. What is the meaning? We cannot understand by these proverbs actually. These proverbs are very insufficient to understand the things. If you love Lord, you will cook the best. If you love Lord, if you have desire to feed him, you will cook very nicely. You will keep the things around very perfectly. So it is not that if you are performing devotional service, these all things will follow up. So it depends on your ardent desire to serve Krishna. Okay. Continue, Dayasagar Prabhu.
There are many other instances showing that a devotee needn't practice anything but Krishna consciousness. All the good qualities of the demigods automatically develop within him. Those who are intentionally practicing to be vegetarians or to become non-violent may have good qualifications by material estimation, but these qualifications are not sufficient to make them devotees. A vegetarian is not necessarily a devotee, nor is a non-violent person, but a devotee is automatically both vegetarian and non-violent. We must conclude, therefore, that vegetarianism or non-violence is not the cause of devotion.
Yes. So it is not that vegetarian or non-violence is a cause of devotion. It automatically comes. If you are a devotee, automatically your gunas will come. You just have to perform devotion service. Then he is non-violent. Ahimsa, Satyam, Shaucham, everything will be attained. Next, 262, 263. Okay. यथा स्कंदे एतेन हि अद्भुता व्याध तवाहिंसादयो गुणैः हरिभक्तौ प्रवृद्धा येन ते स्युः परतापिनः. This is 262nd verse. It says, Kaldapuran says, these qualities such as ahimsa, non-violence, are not astonishing because the persons who engage in devotion to Krishna will never cause affliction to others. So for an ordinary person, ahimsa may be not to kill anyone, but he may be a non-vegetarian person. He may be a vegetarian person, but he has a tendency of criticizing others. That is also ahimsa only. Ahimsa has the root in the principle of daya, compassion. So he may be vegetarian, but he has a tendency of pulling the legs of others, has a tendency of criticizing, has enviousness. What type of ahimsa has? So a devotee, if he is surrendered to Krishna, surrendered to his spiritual master, automatically gets this quality. And this ahimsa has a broader understanding, which is really based on the principle of compassion. So that is 262. Now 263, because in this paragraph, both are there, 262 and 263, in two paragraphs. Let us read 263 also. Tatraiva antah shuddhir vahi shuddhaistapah shanti adayastatha ami guna prapadyante hari seva bhikaminam. Again, Skandapuran says, internal and external purity, austerity, in sense control, peacefulness, and other qualities take shelter of persons who desire to serve Krishna. See what a powerful verse. What a powerful verse. Skandapuran, what it says, qualities take shelter. You don't have to be a good person to perform devotional service. Valmiki was a hunter, but just Narada's mercy, he took up devotional service. Automatically, all the qualities enter. So, qualities are like rivers. It enters a person who has the magnanimous heart like ocean to serve Krishna. You just have to serve Krishna, all the qualities will enter. You don't have to be a very good person to perform devotional service. Automatically, you have the best qualities of Nitya Suris. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarvair gunays tatra samasate sura. If you see first chapter Bhagavad Gita, you have this verse quoted by Srila Prabhupada when describing the heartedness of Arjuna. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana. If you have akinchana love for Krishna, yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana, sarvair gunais tatra samasate sura. All the good qualities are there. They take shelter. And which good qualities? Which are there in Nitya Suris. Who are the Nitya Suris? Eternal servants of Krishna in Vaikuntha planets. So all the good qualities automatically take shelter of a person who is interested in serving Krishna. So is it not this a powerful verse? Rupa Goswami is giving powerful verses. So we don't have to really focus on being a good person. No, just focus on serving Krishna. Automatically, good qualities will enter that person. Okay. Continue, Prabhu.
In this connection, there is a story in the Skanda Purana about a hunter who was converted into a great devotee under the instruction of Narada Muni. When the hunter became a perfect devotee, he was not prepared to kill even an ant. Parvata Muni, a friend of Narada's saw the wonderful transformation of the hunter by devotional service and remarked, "My dear hunter, your unwillingness to kill even an ant is not very astonishing. Any person who develops the devotional attitude has all the good qualities automatically manifested in his person. A devotee is never a cause of distress to anyone."
Read the next one also.
Sri Rupa Goswami affirms herein that purification of consciousness, purification of bodily activities, austerities, peace of mind, etc., all became automatically manifest in the person who is engaged in devotional service.
Sometimes we are into perfections, isn't it? We want to be perfect. Everything should be perfect. It will automatically come. Just serve Krishna. That is most important. You get opportunity to serve Krishna, serve. Automatically, everything is managed by Krishna. He is the ultimate manager. We think, okay, this time this should happen, that time this should happen. We try to manage the time, manage the events. Leave it to Krishna. Stand with hands raised up. Serve Krishna. Everything will be managed in a very systematic way. Lord's Shakti flows. Wherever pure devotional service is there, inclination to serve the acharyas, serve Lord through acharyas, taking the shelter of acharyas, everything will be managed by Krishna. Sa Bhakti 264 and 265. Both are there in this verse. Sa bhakti mukhyangha tathava swavasananusarena nishthatah siddhi kripave. Bhakti, taking shelter of one principal anga or many angas according to one's desire, and practiced with steadiness, brings about the desired results. Bhava Prema. So, what is the purpose of performing bhakti? To attain that stage of bhava and prema. So, one should be just performing it with steadiness, having complete faith in the statement of one's guru. Just have complete faith. That faith will make a person progress in devotional service. This is very important. That is how the steadiness comes. Steadiness doesn't come just by one's own determination. No. Steadiness comes by one's inclination in service. Okay. Next is 265. Tatra ekanga yatha grantantare Shri Vishnu Shavane Parikshid Abhavat Avaya Sakhi Kirtane Prahlada Smarane Tadangari Bhajane Lakshmi Putu Pujane Akrurastvabhivandane Kapipatir Dase Tasye Arjuna Sarvaswatma Nivedane Badir Abhut Krishna Aptir Isham Para. So 9 angas of devotional service. What are 9 angas? 9 process of devotional service. That is Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Padasevam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. Now, one acharya for every process. Shravanam is Parikshit. Vaiyasaki, that is Sukadeva Goswami for Kirtanam. Prahlad Maharaj for Smaranam, always he remembers Lord. He is acharya for Smaranam. Lakshmi for Padasevanam. Don't remove that verse, Prabhu. Keep that verse. Keep that verse. Yeah, Lakshmi for Padasevanam. Padasevanam. Then Smaranam Padasevanam. Archanam. Rutu Maharaj for Archanam. Vandanam Akrur. Dasyam Kapipati. That is Hanuman. Sakyam Arjuna. Atma Sarvaswatma Nivedanam Bali Maharaj is for, that is Atma Nivedanam, giving everything to Lord. Okay. No, 264, 265. Gadadhar Prabhu, please read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam to you. Sri Rupa
Two
Goswami
paragraphs.
affirms, Haribol, Hare Krishna, I am
Two
audible?
paragraphs. Yeah, 2 paragraphs. Read.
Yeah, okay. Sri Rupa Goswami affirms herein that purification of consciousness, purification of bodily activities, austerities, peace of mind, etc., all become automatically manifest in the persons who is engaged in devotional service. Sri Rupa Goswami affirms herein that there are 9 different kinds of devotional service which are listed as hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, worshipping the deity in the temple, praying, carrying out orders, serving Krishna as a friend, and sacrificing everything for him. Each and every one of these processes is so powerful that if anyone follows even one single one of them, he can achieve the desired perfection without fail. For example, if one is attached simply to hearing about the Lord and another is attached to chanting the glories of the name, both will achieve their desired goal in devotional service. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, this has been explained. One may execute 1, 2, 3 are all different process of different devotional service. And at the ultimate end, he will achieve the desired goal of
Your
being
voice
stabilized
is.
in devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Next paragraph also.
Okay, Rex. There are concrete examples of how a devotee discharged one of the service and achieved perfection. King Parikshit achieved the desired goal of life simply by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Sukadev Goswami achieved the desired goal of life simply by reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. Prahlad Maharaja became successful in his devotional service by always remembering the Lord. Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, was successful by engaging herself in managing the lotus feet of the Lord. King Prithu became successful by worshipping in the temple. Akrura became successful by offering prayers. Hanuman became successful by rendering personal service to Lord Ramchandra. Arjuna became successful by being a friend of Krishna. And Bali Maharaja became successful simply by offering all of his possessions to Krishna.
These are 9 kinds of devotional service. Let us take actual processes. Processes is Adav, Adav Guru Padashri. From there it starts. Adav Guru Padashri, Sadharma Pucha. We have processes. First take the shelter of the Adav Shraddha, Tatha Sadhu Sangha, bhajana kriya, anartha nivritti, they are all the processes. Adau Shraddha, it starts with. But what are these 9? These are the kinds. In that, even if one you take it up and do it sincerely, then one can attain the desired result. And what is the desired result? Bhava and prema is the desired result. Now 266 to 268, these are the verses of Ambarish Maharaj. Again in second chapter Bhagavad Gita, we had studied this. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayoho. Put that verse now. Yeah. This is again a very wonderful verse. Go ahead. Go to the next verse, 266, 268. It's not coming in the screen. Okay. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayor vachansi vaikunta gunanu varnane harer harau karau harer mandira marjanadishau shrutim chakara chuta sakkathodaye mukundalingalaya darshana dishau tadpratya gatra sparshanga sangamam granam cha tatpada saroja saurabhe Srimad Tulasya Rasanam Tadarpite Pado Hari Kshetra Padanusarpane Shiro Rishikesha Padabhivandane Kamam Chadasya Natu Kama Kameya Yathatamo Shloka Pada Janashayarati Janashayarati Matpara devotee. When speaking about who is Matpara devotee, Srila Prabhupada quotes these verses. These verses are given by Ambarish Maharaj. He says, first anchor your mind in Krishna. Savai mana Krishna padar vindayo. If your mind is in Krishna, what will do first thing? Vachamsi vaikunta gulanu varnave. You will first glorify him. You are utilizing your vachas, your tongue, in glorifying Krishna. Karaur harer mandir marjana visho. You will utilize your hands in serving the temple of Krishna. You will utilize your ears in hearing about him. You will utilize your eyes in seeing his wonderful form. You will utilize your skin in touching the things related to Krishna. You will utilize your nose in smelling those things which is offered to Krishna, like flowers, tulasi. Srimad Tulasya. You utilize your tongue in taking tulasi. You will utilize your legs in walking to Harishitra. You utilize your head in going down towards Krishna. And in this way, you are serving not for just because you like, you are serving for his pleasure. And your desire is to fulfill his desire. And that is Matpara devotee. Mad Bhakti Prabhavena. Sarva Indriya Vijaya Purvika. Swatma Drishti Sulabheti Bhavaha. If you see, Vidyabhushan, Baldev Vidyabhushan has given this commentary. You open, after the class, you open second chapter, where these verses are given, Matpara devotee. And see the translation given about Matpara, Mad Bhakti, Para, Prabhavena, because of the influence of devotional service, Mad Bhakti Prabhavena, Mad Bhakti Prabhavena, Sarva Indriya Vijaya Purvika. You have Sarva Indriya Vijaya Purvika. You have conquered your senses, Sarva Indriya Vijaya Purvika. Swatma Drishti Sulabheti Bhavaha. It becomes very easy to understand one's relationship to Krishna. Swatma Drishti Sulabheti Bhavaha. And that is Matpara devotee. So read about Matpara devotee, where Ambarish Maharaj's example has been given. He has not just utilized one or two senses, all the 10 senses in Krishna service. You may say, I am utilizing my ears, but if we have to grow in devotional service, use everything, use your legs also. Somebody may say, I'll just hear like Sukhdev Goswami, I'll just hear like Parishit Maharaj. I'll only utilize my ears. Whole day I will be sitting in the online classes and just hear. That is why this verse is put by Rupa Goswami. Somebody should not understand, but just take only one thing. No, utilize all the angas. Whatever parts of body we have got, utilize everything in Krishna service. Okay. Two more. Can read.
Yes, ma'am. There are also examples of devotees who discharged all the different items together. In the 9th canto, 4th chapter, verses 18, 19, and 20 of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a statement about Maharaj Ambarish, who followed every one of the devotional processes. In these verses, Sukadeva Goswami says, King Ambarish first of all concentrated his mind on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna and then engaged his speech in describing the pastimes and activities of the Lord. He engaged his hands in washing the temple of the Lord. He engaged his ears in hearing of the transcendental glories of Lord. He engaged his eyes in seeing the beautiful deity in the temple. He engaged his body in associating with the pure devotees of the Lord. When you associate with someone, you have to sit down together, eat together, etc. And in this way, the touch of your body with his body is inevitable. Ambarish Maharaj made his association only with pure devotees and did not allow his body to be touched by anyone else. He engaged his nostrils in smelling the flowers and tulsi offered to Krishna, and he engaged his tongue in tasting Krishna Prasad, food prepared specifically for offering to the Lord, the remnants of which are taken by the devotees. Maharaj Ambarish was able to offer very nice prasad to Krishna because he was a king and had no scarcity of finances. He used to offer Krishna the most royal dishes and would then taste the remnants as Krishna Prasad. There was no scarcity in his royal style because he had a very beautiful temple wherein the deity of the Lord was decorated with costly paraphernalia and offered high grade food. So everything was available. And his engagement was always completely in Krishna consciousness. The idea is that we should follow in the footsteps of great devotees. If we are able to execute all the different items of devotional service, we must try to execute at least one of them as exemplified by previous acharyas. If we are engaged in the execution of all the items of devotional service, as was Maharaj Ambarish, then the perfection of devotional service is guaranteed from each one of these items. With the first complete engagement, one becomes automatically detached from material contamination and liberation becomes the maidservant of the devotee. This idea is confirmed by Bilva Mangala Thakur. If one develops unalloyed devotion to the Lord, liberation will follow the devotee as his maidservant. Srila Rupa Goswami says that the regulative principles of devotional service are sometimes described by authorities as the path of serving the Lord in opulence.
Yes. So how to utilize every senses in devotional service has been given. Now, in sadhana bhakti, you have two, Vaidhi bhakti, Raganuga bhakti. So in Vaidhi bhakti, following the scriptures, uh, everything has been given here. How to follow the scriptures, what are the things which are favorable in devotional service. But there's something known as Raganuga bhakti, spontaneous love for Krishna. That will be the next chapter. Spontaneous devotional service. Okay. Any doubts in this? We
Hare
have
Krishna,
5 chapters. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Mataji, you tell us about Archanam, example of Prithu Maharaj. So Mataji, if today time is not possible, can you tell me in next class, in a very short, what is Prithu Maharaj's story?
Story. Then read now from Bhagavatam, Kumara story.
No, Mataji,
You
how he utilized Archanam? Why we use Archanam for
What is the
Prithu
meaning of
Maharaj?
Archanam? What is the meaning of Archanam? Offering.
Uh, Yes, Mataji.
Offering everything in Krishna's service. How Prithvi Maharaj offered everything in Krishna's service. So read Prithvi Maharaj's story. You'll come to know. You read, come back to me day after tomorrow. Tomorrow no class as we have scheduled. This will be Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Okay. So we'll try to complete another. We just have to do now 5 chapters more. We'll try to complete by next week so that you have more time for study. Okay, any other doubt? No doubt. Okay, Hare Krishna. Nailu is sleeping. Oh,
I am awake.
Acha, you're here.
Savarnavarna Hemango Varangishchandra Nangati.
What? What is he chanting?
He's saying that
Varna.
Savarnavarna Hemango.
Suvarna Varna Hemango. Chant.
Suvarnavarna Hemango Varangishchandra Nangati. Sanyasa Shanto Nitha Shanti Parayana.
Oh, very good. Wonderful. Suvarna Varna Hemango.
He
Varangashcha Chandanangadi.
was बंद हो गया.
What happened?
ये वर्ड क्या है? इसका मीनिंग क्या है? पता नहीं. कौन है सुवर्णवर? महाप्रभु.
Okay, Mahaprabhu's qualifications you're giving. This verse is there. This is a verse from Vishnu Sahasranam describing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's beauty. Suvarna Varna Hemango Varangascha Chandanangati. Hari Bol.